The world over, statistics show women get a rougher deal than men. Niger is the worst place to be a woman, according to all research. And across Africa, laws discriminate against women. Issues such as female genital mutilation continue to shock people. The shock to most of us is that it still happens. We're joined here in the studio by Friederike Röder, who's the French director for the One organisation, an NGO dedicated to getting people out of charity, co-founded by the U2 singer Bono, no less. Thank you very much for being with us. What is your message today on International Women's Day? I mean, clearly getting rid of poverty, but it's a huge task.
It is, and we won't be able to achieve the end of extreme poverty if we don't focus on women and girls. And this is really our message today. So we're launching a new campaign which is called Poverty is Sexist. This sounds like a shock title, but it's actually the reality of a lot of women in the poorer countries of the world. Today, a woman in a developing country faces a double burden. She lives in extreme poverty. In addition to this, she's facing discriminations that are way worse than what a woman may face, for instance, in France. And this is the situation we want to draw attention to. And we have more than 80 celebrities that have joined our call and signed an open letter that actually now everyone can sign on one.org. And it's a call on our leaders to take action to prioritize women and girls to end extreme poverty.
So that's on one.org. I'll visit, I'll sign it. I'm supposed to be neutral, but I'm allowed to have an opinion. I will sign that letter because if you look from the rich developed world to the poorest countries, there is that common denominator that women get a worse deal than men.
Exactly. Women get a worse deal, and it's even worse when they live in a poor country. I'm going to give you one figure that I find quite shocking. It's that being a woman in a developing country means that you're 136 times more at risk to die while giving birth than a woman in a developed country such as France. So you were just mentioning Niger. The risk is 1 in 20 for a woman in Niger who gives birth not to survive. And this, I mean, in 2016, right? We need to change this urgently. We've already made huge progress in the fight in extreme poverty, but we're failing on girls and women, and this needs to change, because otherwise we won't be able to achieve our objective to end extreme poverty by 2030.
Obviously, you could have put the stress on cultural issues such as female genital mutilation. Cultural, well, it's criminal. Let's be straight. I mean, it is a criminal. It's an assault issue. It's a criminal issue. You could have stressed that. I presume that is part and parcel of what you would like to change. But homing in on poverty, clearly, are you calling on the rich developed world to sort of like donate, to play a larger role? Is that part of the idea?
I mean, we need to end failing women and girls, and we will only do this if we take into consideration the whole picture. So obviously we have cultural obstacles everywhere in the world. We have legal obstacles. There are still 155 countries in the world where laws make a difference between women and men. There are obviously also economic obstacles and financial obstacles. So we need to change all of this. So the call that we're making today goes out to all the world leaders. So obviously we're calling on the governments of Niger, Mali, the poorest countries in the world to change the situation of women. Just being a very poor country doesn't mean that that women need to get a rougher deal, as you said. They can still ensure that girls have access to education, for instance. And we're obviously also calling on other northern governments who give official development assistance to poorer countries and need to prioritize women and girls in their programs. So this really goes out to the whole world, to leaders, because they obviously have the power to put in funding for girls, to change laws, but also to every citizen. As you said, every citizen can go to our website and sign the letter and take action to end this horrible situation.
My daughter's 15 years old. She's lucky enough to go to school, but if she's in Niger or one of the countries you mentioned, she may well be married off. At this stage, she may well have one, maybe two children. She may well be in a horrible situation she could never get out of.
Today, in Niger, 36% of 15-year-old girls are already married. And
that is shocking.
That is shocking. As I said, the risk that she will die giving birth is 1 in 20.
1 in 20, yeah.
She will have 7 children. she won't have access to, for instance, a bank account. This is a horrible situation in 2016, but I think what is really important also is to say that these things can change. This is not a fatality, and this is why we're launching this campaign.
Friederike Röder, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time from the One organisation dedicated to try to get people out of poverty. And of course, it's International Women's Day. We're talking getting women out of poverty. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.